She ruled the radio airwaves and TV screens with 20 number one hits on the music charts. Named Best Female Vocalist for 5 consecutive years during the mid-80s. And World Vision Malaysia Ambassador. In this episode, Catholics at Home is honored to speak with a true Malaysian icon. This is All Access with Francissca Peter. Hello and welcome to another episode of Catholics at Home, which is produced in collaboration with the Catholic Research Centre in Kuala Lumpur. My name is Kachang Kevin, and as usual, I'm joined by my co-host Mark Darren Lee. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Kevin, what's up?
Yeah, the previous show, you told me not to ask you the same question every time I introduce you, right? So this time, I'm going to give you a tricky question. Let's see if you can answer this one. What is the name of the second unofficial Malaysia anthem? Do you know that one? What's the title of the second national anthem, unofficial? Do you know that song?
Setia.
Oh, all
Is it
right.
correct?
That's absolutely right. And you know what? We have the singer who sang that song way back then, and it's being covered by many, many people right now. So that's good. Good on you, Mark. Also joining the conversation is Father Clarence Devadas. Hello, Father.
Hi, Kevin. How are you? Let me ask you the question now.
Okay. And the question is?
How are you? How are you doing?
Okay.
How are you coping with MCO?
Okay. I'm coping all right. Just for today, actually, I had an early shift in the morning. So, I woke up very early and, I can feel the energy slowly. I think after this show, I'm going to crash for a few hours. So in the meantime, I'm quite excited right now because of our special guest. So I still have the energy flowing. And as I mentioned in the opener, our special guest today is Francissca Peter. Hi, Fran.
Hi.
Hello, Fran. I have to tell you this story just before we start, all right? I can now strike off something off my bucket list, okay? Because here's a little story. It's a little bit silly. Please bear with me. But back in my school days, the kids will call you anything but your name, right? And nicknames were too old school, so they'll call you like your parents' name or, something. And my full name is actually Kevin Peter Francis. So you can imagine what the guys used to call me. Tanya lah, Francissca Peter, Tanya Francissca Peter. And I told myself, one day, just one day, I'm going to meet this Francissca Peter. Lo and behold, the day is finally here.
That's a very good story, actually. I like that. That's really good. How interesting, your name?
Yeah, and they kept calling me Francissca Peter until we studied about Francis Light. Then they switched over to Francis Light. Well, anyway, that's a very silly story from me. I'm sorry to bother you with that. But
it's a nice story.
Anyway,
nice
how have you been coping with the MCO?
Not too bad. A bit strange. Strange as in now everything is done like on the net. I'm just like, and I almost feel like I have a fear of being addicted to it. As it is, we all are kind of addicted to it.
Yep.
And it's even worse for children because this addiction, as it is, some kids already suffer this addiction, and some may have 1 or 2 kids. But what about those who have like 5, 4, 5, 6 kids? How do they deal with this online thing? Because it's so dangerous. Once we come out of this, what's going to happen to the children? Will they be so addicted to it? Like for us, already as it is not quite an addiction. But as artists, I think even like for yourselves, now you guys are always doing these things, But once you go home, you tend to like switch off, and then you want to crash. You really have a good rest, and you switch everything off. Some of us are able of doing that, but not a lot of people are. But now I find like I'm even more on it because even the recordings I'm doing now is online. Like RTM celebrates its 74th anniversary this year, our national TV station. So even that, as I was called to do the morning show, to sing their birthday song and celebrate, and it's all online. It's like, it's so weird. And we did Skype with that, And then the other was also TV3, also another one morning thing, and it was also online. But that one they did it. I think they did it was it? Not sure, was it Facebook or something like that. And different people using different online internet kind of like podcast. You've got this now that we're using because of my bad some connection thing. So it's a bit strange. And even when I have to record, I record myself alone, doing everything myself, and then I send it to the producer, and then they put everything together like how we are now, little four corners, kind of thing. So it's a
So
bit
normally,
strange.
do you all have like a -1 where you sing to, or is it?
Initially, well, some of my friends, musicians, these guys that I work with, he's also a musical conductor, producer as well for RTM, and he sort of asked me for fun, hey, come, let's do something together, because everyone's doing it, the whole world, literally, every artist in the world is doing it. So I say, yeah, we also have a lot of people doing it here. So I say, yeah, why don't we do it? So we did something of my song. We arranged it and had some fun with it. Then he, I think, presented it to the station, and then they decided that we're going to take it a step further, and then they decided to make a series of it. So now there's got this show thing. So I think mine is coming out on the 27th, I think. It's probably going to be like in the afternoon show on TV2. And there's another one also coming up, and now they're doing the arrangements for my music. So what they do is they do the song, then they send it, they email it to me. Then I play it, plug my headphones, and imagine you're singing it on headphones. And then when you play it back, there's no music going on, but there's just their voice. But they do everything and put it all together. I mean, you guys are doing this, so you kind of know, how it works. But it is kind of strange. It's really very strange, And it's also different because we have our stylists to do our makeup and all that. Frankly, I'm not a person who's like really great at makeup kind of thingy. It's not my thing. But just a little bit here and there is fine to look presentable. But I'm not like the thick of it. No. So we have to just do what we can, rustle whatever we can on our face, try to look decent, presentable. And then a hair thing, I decided I was irritated with my hair, so I just scissored it up and cut it off and just say, never mind, just like that, and just get on with it. So it's all the things that you suddenly have to do on your own. And I find that some things seem practical, like, you really think, you feel like certain things you're kind of like changing, as in after this thing is over, I'm wondering if I'll do the same things or not,
One of the things I as I'm listening to you, I find some similarities, I mean, you're so used to, singing to an audience, something like as priest. I mean, you celebrate mass with an audience, the congregation, and now having to do it in front of a camera or in front of a small crew of people, and still reaching out to a larger audience. I feel it quite. I mean, I'm not so used to it yet. How do you feel? I mean, as an entertainer, I think it's the audience that energizes you. But now you're having to look at a camera and sing. Do you have the same emotions when you sing that way?
It's really funny. My hair is standing on end as you speak like that and you ask these questions. It is really, I don't know. I actually like it and I don't like it, but I like it. I don't know how to explain. That sounds rather warped, right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
And I kind of like it because why? On one hand, people are all online and they're searching. They're all searching for something, whether it's spiritually, godly, whatever. Could you be curious about another faith or not? God forbid they're going into some other cultish groups, which is not a good thing. Not right now, because we don't really need all that kind of thing. You want to find goodness, lightness, and to think that, or maybe channeling ourselves to see that when you read so much online, you feel like, and you know so much, and you're able to reach so many more people. Sometimes we think we're not reaching, but we're actually reaching out to more people. So there's actually kind of like a good thing about it too. Not completely, but there is still kind of a good thing. Of course, I've got friends who complain to me and say things like, we are all peoples, we all like people, but some are more selective than others, and some they just are anything goes. But I've got friends who I think they get depressed because they are very like social type, and they gotta have people. One of my friends was just telling me the other day, oh no, I can't stand, I cannot take it, I'm in the house, oh my god. And then he's on the cam talking to me, he shows me his beer, look what I got. And I was thinking, okay. And I think that's how he was like, and he was stressed because why? He said, I need to have people around me. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. And I think he says, I'm very depressed. And he goes like that. So I worry about people like that because they need to have crowds around. So
Well,
there is.
yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, in some ways, that kind of energizes people also in a different way.
Yeah.
In a kind of a different kind of energy. One of the things that I've been, I think you and I must be about the same age, lah. We are maybe in the same generation at least, lah.
Finally, father,
growing up, watching RTM, and I still remember, I think it's Roy and Fran, right? That's how it all started in those days, watching on TV. I mean, that's the Francissca Peter that I kind of knew watching RTM in those days, but never knew, what got you interested in music. I mean, how did you get into a career of singing? I mean, I don't think many people know that.
I think they do, but I think information is information. It's always fast. It comes, it goes, and some people if they really adore you and love you, they would not stalkers, but they just memorize your life, and they memorize it so well, better than their own history books, and then they can remember every little thing you did, But as for me, I think it was by chance. One of the reasons, talking about World Vision and ambassadorship to World Vision, and I've come this far and still am, but look at the way things are now. We are also struggling, trying to cope with how we can reach some of the families and the children, because it is no joke. I mean, even churches or IHD, so I'm sure they have their issues and their problems, how to reach and get to the people they need to get. So when it comes to that, when we got into it, we were my family was quite poor. I mean, I don't want to talk about the history of my family before coming into it. Although my dad was actually from quite a wealthy family, a very cultured, educated family, but it's just circumstances. And if I talk about things, it was unfortunate that he was a bit of an alcoholic. He was a great writer, one of the first writers in Malaya. And he was also with the British Army. I mean, God rest his soul. I mean, it was kind of tough for us because we were very poor. And when I got into it, a lot had happened in our family. So, I just told my mom that I said, since I love singing so much, it's a time where whenever you get involved in entertainment, it was a time where people will say, oh, it's not good, drugs lah. And then after getting into all kinds of things, then you get into prostitution lah and all sorts of things. So those days how people used to talk like that, and then become an alcoholic lah after you smoke also and all that. And it's just that, when you have to find a way to, I thought that was one of the most decent ways of me earning a living, since I can't go and go to college, go to university or whatever. So I just told my mom, so let me finish off secondary and let me just go, and I'll just go and sing and earn a living. And that was how it all started. And those days, when you think about it, I think it was about 78, maybe 78, 79, maybe 78, 78, something like that. Um, and my first gig, I remember those days, 400 ringgit a month was a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money, 400 ringgit, you know, because when you have a house, you're renting, it only costs like maybe 100 ringgit or, you know, 120, 150 ringgit for a whole house, you know, when you rent a whole house. And so my family was, you know, and the rest, my mom was able to save. And then she used to play this thing called kutu. Do they still play that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Ask your
I
mother.
haven't heard about
Ask
it in
your
a long
mother to
time.
tell you. Because it's like, you know, they used to play that. My mom used to play that. And then it's like, they have like maybe four families, five families, these women. They will go like, it's like a circle they do. So they say, oh, Alice needs this first. So, you know, they say if they all have like 20 ringgit, they put into this little thing, pot. Then they say, okay, after it's finished, everyone puts it, we give Alice first because she needs it more for the children, you know, and then she takes it first. Then after you pay back again, you can get back, everyone put again, then the next person. That's what they used to do. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So that's how it started, really.
And
Did you
Oh,
sing in
interesting.
church last time? Were you a choir member or?
I think you know my sister Viviana, who's also my manager now. She is amazing. I always felt like she was like the best thing that I couldn't be, because she had all the church upbringing. She was such a choir girl. She was a reader. She was everything she did. She was also one of the first. I think when they had the what you call altar girls, she was one of the first. You know, and then after that it kind of like went off away. So, and I always felt like, wow, you know, I always felt so proud of her because she had this wonderful what you call this root of Catholic faith, you know, and that's why she's probably my friends in the States, my Catholic friends would call her what, where's your walking conscience? My walking conscience. So she like nips it in the butt. And then I'm like, okay, alrighty, here goes. So and I've learned a lot from her as well. You know, yes, I love my faith, I love my priest and all of them. They've been so wonderful and helpful whenever I have I have questions or thoughts about things, you know. It's been always very helpful. And she also is the extra help sometimes of the faith, you know, like she made me get involved. Only now, I think the last 5 years only, I began to really understand and get involved in church, like doing reading and things like that. But of course, there's the other side to it where I say, yo, I always thought that Catholic people are so, all those people doing things, you know, so holy and so good one. How come some of them are a bit strange? And my sister, okay, you know, then my sister say, that is life.
No worries,
That
friend. I'm also working with two strange people, so don't worry, you're quite comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, one of the myths. I think this is one of the myths. You know, people think that people in entertainment industries cannot be religious people. Also, you know, it's like this myth that goes around. People think that they don't. It's like water and oil; they don't sit together. You know, but I think you have kind of found a balance. You know, in the life of the church. I mean, you have always, been available to help in church, using the talents that God has given you in many ways. I mean, I myself in a parish have benefited having you over, to sing for a charity event, and you found a kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. How does your faith sustain you during these times? I mean, especially in this industry.
I try. Sometimes it's very hard. You know what? If I could just live alone, this is my bread and butter. I don't have any business. Let me put it out there first, everybody. Let you all know. It is my only bread and butter. I'm not like something. There's probably 1 or 2% of our in the Malaysian Bahasa Malaysia music industry, whereby our national language industry, whereby there's probably about maybe 2% or 3% who are like really rich kind of artists, but a majority of them are not really rich. Maybe some are like what you call it, moderately okay, but they wouldn't be millionaires like maybe the 1-2% of them who are. I mean, they're very blessed, while but for a lot of us, we actually work very hard, mind you. And I just wish that sometimes people can be a little bit more understanding to a lot of people like me, because as much as anything, if I could, I would just completely do all Catholic Church events, But of course, there's also a fee. My manager is always saying, people sometimes fail to realize that this is your bread and butter. And then, you're doing free is one thing. That's why I do my own research to my sister, although she's my sister, she's my manager, she always give me, all right, this organization needs help. Here's the link. Go do your research and figure out how you feel and read about them. So that's my job. So I have to read up about them. And I have to remember certain things, So I jot down all the things that are necessary, that is important facts, and then I go by that. After reading the stuff, then I will go back to her. Then I say, you know what? If I see that they've got like some, I don't want to be mean about this, but I'm honest. I think we are both kind of honest there. And sometimes when they've got like big sponsorships. So you wonder sometimes, and we are very transparent people, both of us, I think that's why my mom always said, that's why you guys, she's very proud of us that we are honest there. But on one hand, she also knows that my children will never be rich because they are honest, and she's happy that we are that way. It's just that we what you call this? We sometimes have to tell them that, okay, this is a fee. We have a charity fee. We also have fees that are for the normal kind of events and shows, that. But sometimes when you see certain organizations, they've got some really wealthy backing, and then sometimes you wonder, and then they want you to do for free. So we always try to tell them that I have to pay for my makeup artist to do my hair, my face, and then we also have to dress a certain way. You can't expect me to go out there looking like this, right? Because people want to see, wow, oh, you look like that. Wow, all done up. It's an expensive, you know what I mean? Showtime, showtime, so you must come out like that, you know what I mean? So it's I think sometimes they fail to understand that, yes, I can come up there looking like a quiet girl. I will do that when it's the appropriate time for it, yes. But when you're asking me to come and do a show because you want to raise funds, I'm coming in doing a show. I'm coming in as, I don't have like split personalities. I come in as Francissca Peter, the artist, So I think that's one of the things that I wish that people would understand. Not just speaking for myself, but there are others who are like me too, and they are good at their craft. They love what they do, I mean, even, if imagine if you, Kevin, you go and they ask you to do something, you do for free, and then you see, wow, this fellow got this sponsor, that sponsor, and then you think, wow, cannot pay me a little bit or so,
For church free. For church, definitely free.
So, Fran, I'll ask you a question, Fran. For the
record, we're not paying you anything to appear on the show. Don't send me a bill later, please.
No, I know that, look, you have to weigh things out. When and who and what and how you want to ask for a fee. Everyone has to be very practical there. For us, a lot of us also now, a lot of artists are out of work. A lot of them are out of work. And you imagine they have children, a lot of them, they are married, they have children. I know a lot of them are. You can't even imagine how they are feeling also. I mean, I know how I feel. I was talking to my mom about it, on the finances and things, but I'm a different kind of kettle of fish altogether. I've been through like really down, like when you're a poor family, you pick yourselves up. And then I always say that, it's like a wave. And then it went like really down once, and then when I got home and then I picked myself up and then waved right on. My sister's an amazing manager, Viviana, and most trustworthy. And got back up, And I'm the kind of person who will grab the bull by its horn, and somehow you cut your losses and you just work and come back up again. That's what you do. You have to, you got no choice.
Yeah, I'm suppose that's good advice because we know a lot of those in the entertainment line, especially the bands and those who can't operate right
Yeah.
now during the MCO. And like you said, they have young children, and just that's their bread and butter. So I guess
Right.
I guess that's very good advice to them to soldier on. And just want to go back to a bit about what Father Clarence said just now, just to tag along about the connotation that the entertainment industry, with all the drugs and the bad stuff there. Have you ever been like, because you're in the industry for quite a long time, have you ever been tempted around, or what kept you away? Was your faith involved in how it kept you away from all this bad stuff?
I'm not crying. I'm just a emo person. Anyway, but I won't mention names. But I've been in a room where people smoked till the whole place was smoked up, and this was when I was first started out, as an artist. And I would just walk out of the room, because I'm not going to sit there and inhale all that muck. I just walk out of the room. And I'll just say, oh God, because I don't like the smell of smoke anyways, because I don't smoke. And so I just walk out of the room and I just go away, Because sometimes when they have, like, when we play in clubs and bars those days, and I was starting out, sometimes the hotel will give you one room and then they cram all of us in. And all of them are guys, the musicians, and as a young person, a girl, then, and then you just, it's like a changing room, and you just go there, chill, and go home, after that. We never really stayed in the hotels at that time when I first started out. And so I would just walk off, because it was some of the things that I promised my mom. It wasn't easy because I don't know what I was doing anyway. All I know is I just wanted to go out and make a living and to bring back money so that we can pay the rent and have decent food on the table, and pay for the school fees. I don't know whether I would have become a smoker or an alcoholic or a druggie, because I never knew these things, And then when I was in there and I'd seen it, and I used to say that, I told my mom used to say to me, you just promised me these things. And I told my mom, I promise her I won't be an alcoholic, I won't take drugs, and I won't smoke. I told her these things. And I think it meant a lot to her that I could do that. But obviously, I did, and I did, not buts, I don't smoke. And I would never consider myself an alcoholic. Every time I go for checkup with doctors, I remember even abroad, they would ask, do you drink, And I'll say, no, if you consider 2-3 glasses of wine a year, no. Forget about that. That's not an alcoholic. So I say, I just thought I'd let you know anyway. So I'm not really a drinker. I only picked it up drinking. I think I only learned to drink wine only in my late 20s. That's like really late, So, but it's not a big thing for me. In fact, I stopped drinking now because as the years passed on, my asthma kind of like grew, and red wine is not really good for things like that. It actually triggers a lot of problems. So I don't do that at all now.
On a lighter note, friend, I mean, I've met you in church. Never had the opportunity to ask you some of these simple questions. Maybe people. These are just one line answers or one word answers. Simple things like you're an artist. You're a singer. Who's your all-time favorite singer?
Oh my God, all-time favorite singer. My all-time favorite singer. Gosh. I got so many, but it's very hard for me to say. It would be unfair to my other favorites. I mean, all-time favorite singer. I cannot say all-time. How could I say all-time? Okay, I can name a few. Can I?
Okay, sure.
Okay, all-time, I've always liked Streisand.
Okay, all right.
I like the artist as Streisand, the singer. I like Kelly Clarkson. I like Mariah because they are two very outstanding vocalists. I also like some amazing artists like Gladys Pitt, Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight, she's amazing. And some of them have passed on, like Ella Fitzgerald or Billie Holiday, Sarah Vaughan. They've passed on, but they are greats. So these are the people that I like, and quite a number. I also have some guy singers that I like, but I just want to name the girls because being female.
Okay, if I can just twist the question a little bit, if they were to make a movie about you, who do you think would be the best person to play you?
Good question. I really don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Or we'll have each of
I
them.
can't really think. I can't really think. I mean,
Tough one.
I would love to see, maybe in my heart, I would love to see like a more multicultural thing going on. I think we rather than move back, I think we need to move ahead. I would love to see more colors of race, involved in any kind of movie or drama. And I don't think people should be unkind to say that, oh, this one is nonce, do this, or this is only for Malay bahasa thingy. I don't see life like that. I think that we need to change that. We need to have more togetherness, because our everyday life is like that. When we go out, whether you're going to the uncle's grocer, Mr. Tan's grocer, or whether you're going to the Indian restaurant to buy your Indian food. You can be Malay, Indian, Chinese also. Then, or you're going to the Chinese shop to buy kai fan, chicken rice. I mean, it's like this is our everyday life. Malays go to car repair shops where the guy is abeng. He's just there and he's helping. And then what do we talk about? We talk not so perfectly in our BM or our English. We just talk like mixing up everything. I mean, that's what Malaysia is about. And I just wish that just wake up. I just wish sometimes those sitting up there just wake up and just do things that way. Just come on, look at us all.
And I think one of the things that probably what you're saying brought us together, okay, I mean, Fran, you sang many songs, okay, but the song that you most remembered, I mean, I don't know whether it's the right thing to say, like Mark said, it's Setia, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It was on TV, and you're synonymous with that song, and it was a nice song to bring people together.
Yeah, it was a time as well politically, going back like 30 years, maybe something like that, where there was already friction within government, and that song was written particularly for bringing the unity. They didn't want the fights going on within, and that song was actually written for that particular reason. And of course, it has come full scale now, and it's people do recognize. I think in the last 3 years it came back even bigger, more. So and then I was asked again. I was starting to sing it a little bit more and this and that. And then wherever I needed to do it, I would do it. Because they would request. I want you to. The words are very meaningful. Because it's very
how about singing one or two lines for us?
Kepada pemimpin, kepada rakyat, hikmat diberi penuh taat, sama bekerja, sama berusaha, sama semua. Everyone has to, semua have to work together. And I think that with this thing now going on, we don't wake up.
Fran, I just have a question.
Yeah.
Do the younger generation, the millennials or the Gen Z and all, do they come up to you and because of the Setia song?
I think some do, but not a lot until their mother says something. Ini auntie tahu, ini auntie tu tahu yang nyanyi lagu tu tahu tak? And then they say, oh good girl, hello auntie. Then they'll do like that. It's just like that. It's really cute. But then because they are listening to it, but they have not. They've seen the old footage probably, not the new ones, but they can see pictures of me on Facebook and other stuff, social media. But they haven't really seen me face to face. And when I'm outside, I'm quite normal, just no heavy makeup. So sometimes the mothers, they will recognize and they say, you tahu tak auntie ni siapa? You tahu tak lagu ni? Then I say, oh. Then they will like, looking like that. It's so cute, like it's the eyes all open big, like, is my mom crazy or is this real or something,
Well, if I remember the 80s, I think that song, if I remember, that song came on after the news, I think, almost every day.
Yes.
Yeah, before every news time,
Yeah.
like for 8 or closing time, and even sometimes they say opening of the station in the morning.
Yeah. I remember that, yeah.
That was probably one of the biggest songs ever, because it ran so long. And after that, they had groups singing it, to show the unity, in the country. So yeah, it's such a very pretty song. It's a pretty song. I'm blessed and I'm thankful that I was chosen to sing it.
Maybe another remix, maybe with a duet with a younger
I
person,
did,
and also we can reach out to the younger audience.
Astro did one recently. I think about maybe it's 2 years old now. With a group of singers, and I was also there. Yeah, so that was how that TV station wanted to revive it. Then after that we had other groups singing it, and then people started singing in schools. This was the previous time before now. Yeah.
I'd like to ask one more question. Sorry, Kevin. Your success, I think there are many reasons to it. And I think one of the key things which I believe would be your ability to sing in Bahasa, you know what I mean? And it reached out to many Malaysians. And I think today the artists also, is it the same? I mean, because we see many aspiring artists, but not many actually break through the scenes. You know what I mean? So what would be your advice to them in terms of how should they look at the career?
I think sometimes we have to open our eyes how God is channeling us or how He's given us all gifts. How we are going to use everything was by chance. I stumbled upon everything in my life, it was all stumbled upon it, and then it was like given to me, and I said, okay, take that. Okay, yeah, I'll take it, okay, thank you, Lord, that's the kind of thing. BM wise, because it just so happened, like now going back to what Father Clarence was talking, he grew up with the Roy and Fran time. After the band and pubs and singing and all that, there was a moment where the bands all they broke up, and then Roy was looking for a singer too at that time, and he then I was looking also to continue working, obviously, to make a living. For me, it was like, hey, I'm singing and I'm making a living, and I love singing, so it's great, the combination. Then we hooked up and he said, okay, fine. So we hooked up as Roy and Fran, the duo, and we started at the hotel, coffee house, hotel lounge, and while we were singing at one of the hotels, it's now called Concord, but it was the Merlin Hotel at that time. And I remember the late Sudirman, he used to come there almost every night. And he would request this song, a very old classic, 50s, I think, by Connie Francis, called Frankie. And he would come there almost every other night, and he'd ask, Fran, my favorite song, please. And I would have to sing the song for him. And he would come there to have his dinner alone. Then one night, he brought EMI in, Mrs. Bay. They call her the Iron Lady. And she came with their ENR guy as well, and sat down and he said, you listen to that, listen to Fran, listen. And then of course, Roy and Fran think we were a duo, and so in the end they signed us on. And I kind of have to say that he kind of introduced us to the record label, and it was perfect timing because we became like the duo in the country, and everyone was so goo gaga over us. I used to see us as like Donnie and Marie, brother and sister. Everyone wanted to see us as husband and wife material, but no, no. He was more like a brother to me, Yeah, so that's
Like the Carpenters.
Yeah, that's right. Karen and Richard. Yeah.
Mark is too young to remember those things. Kevin would remember enough. Yeah.
Kevin and Mark are very young.
Yeah, maybe Kevin in the industry, probably he will remember.
I do. And I actually do know Mrs. Bay.
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know they called her the Iron Lady?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's what you called, I would say that she was one of those strong women that time, particular era, is not common. And she was pretty strong, yeah.
And you need to be in this industry.
Oh, yeah. That's because it can be quite chauvinistic.
So, with Sudirman introducing you to EMI and stuff like that, I mean, were y'all friends after that? And in terms of working together, do y'all collaborate a lot?
Because why he's I'm a very funny person. I always believe in you don't catch out people, discretion, and I'm the type, because they are celebrities. Celebrities, they have their privacy and things like that. Collaborating is you always leave it to other people, because they are a star and they're right. Everybody wants to sing with somebody, but it's all about timing as well, and I was with Roy that time, so it wouldn't be kind of like a done thing to be doing a duet with him. But of course later on maybe we could have, but it just didn't pan out that way. Because later on my solo career kicked off even more, bigger than the Roy and Fran, but it was still big because Roy and Fran was a kind of thing where I think after Roy and Fran there were no really any great duos, and that's why it kind of like stayed, and I think it's just perfect that way. It's so nice, yeah.
And so, Kevin, back to you.
Oh, okay. All right, that's great. So I just want to continue with the theme that Father Clarence wanted to talk about, lighter stuff about Francissca Peter. Let's talk about food. You just mentioned earlier that you like to talk about food and what people like to eat.
I want to know what you guys had for lunch.
Well, I just had leftovers from yesterday.
What are they?
Well, actually, interesting enough, it was my mother's birthday yesterday.
Oh, how nice! Happy birthday to your mom.
Yeah, and we didn't want her to have our cooking, because it's not up to a standard. So we discussed, my sister and myself ordered some really nice food. So we had a lot of it yesterday, a lot of balance as well. So, that's my lunch for today.
Good for you.
But yeah. Oh, you want to know what it is? Some pizza, some pork ribs, spaghetti, meatballs.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Did you say pork?
Pork ribs. But what food do you like? What food do you like, friend? What type of food?
Go there with pork. Don't even get started. No. I like everything actually. I love a lot of different foods. But it's sometimes the most simplest ones actually get me. Just a nice, simple home cooked meal. One veggie, one fish, so I'm happy, or just eating Hainanese chicken rice, so just simple one with some boiled vegetables, also I'm very happy. I'm just happy to be able to have my favorites, and they're usually quite simple. And I love bak kut teh.
Oh.
Yes.
I love my bak kut teh, but I don't eat it often because I think Malaysians only use the word hiti. If you use that word anywhere in the world, they'll all start laughing at you. But yes, it's very hot for the body.
And also, we know you like to read a lot. And have you read any good books recently?
Well, you know what? I think this is probably one of the worst times. Good books. I think not of late. I've got some books that are waiting for me to read. And the problem is now when you go online, you're reading stuff. And then you suddenly read and read and read, and then you're going to the next thing and you're reading, and then you forget about it, So there are days where I just need to like switch off. And because I'm one of those, once I pick up the book, I have to finish it.
Mm.
I cannot be distracted. Even movies, I'll be flicking, And then my sister will ask me, say, "You're sleeping very early. No wonder you're getting up very early." I don't know why I'm so tired. Why? Yeah, you sleep too early. You're getting up too early. So even when I'm watching TV, I'll flick to see. Oh, no. I need to be like really awake for some of the serious, and I like serious drama or comedy drama. I love that kind of movies, And if I'm very impatient, then I'll watch like a typical male or the fighting type.
The Rambo and the
Easy and
Schwarzeneggers.
fast and drop.
Now, friend, during Easter, you also posted a video of you singing Betapa Hatiku, which was
Sorry.
lovely. You also stressed the importance of being thankful. Can you share with us any particular moment where you felt the closeness of the Lord and His graces, being thankful for what He has given you?
Okay, your first question was, what was that again? Sorry, the phone when I just shut it off.
No, I was just saying that during Easter you posted a video of singing Betapa Hatiku, and
Yeah.
in your post you stressed about the importance of being thankful. So I was just wondering, is there any moment, a particular moment in your life where you felt the closeness of the Lord and His graces, and being thankful of what He has given to you?
I think prayer is something that I wish I was more prayerful. I wish I was like my mother, who can just pick up the rosary and like say it like, like it's so easy, like a breeze. We often get distracted, and I wish I could like just pick it up any time of the day and just say it, rather than be distracted by the things that are not important. But having said that, I am extremely grateful and thankful for the fact that I think returning home to live back here. I'm grateful and thankful for that, because that was already in my heart. In my heart and mind, there was that this plan was there. I wanted to come back home, my mom is getting older, and I have two beautiful nieces whom I adore to death, and my sister, my brother, they're here. And I always believe that charity begins at home thing. Because when you have that foundation, charity begins at home, that's only when you can actually see yourself being able to reach out and help someone else, because you already have that. Because if you don't have that charity begins at home feeling, family,
Yeah.
it's impossible for you to even imagine how you should be helping someone else. That's how I see things. So I am thankful for a lot of things. Even now, I'm thankful for the fact that He has brought me to the journey, even with the bad things that went on in my life. Everyone has pains and struggles and hurts, but sometimes you will go through the phase of every difficulty. You will go through a phase of when you're so hurt, and then that hurt turns into anger. And the thing is how to manage that anger so you don't become bitter. That anger then jumps on, let that anger, try to control and manage that anger. And that's where I think you have to pray a lot during that time when you are filled with that anger after the hurt. Then only after that you can actually see yourself healing. You have moments of perhaps hurt and anger, but the healing process starts after that. And sometimes that can take 3 years, 4 years. Some people it doesn't even it doesn't even take years. It not just doesn't take like 3 or 4 years. It takes years, and you're unable to forgive. You may not be able to forget some things, but the forgiveness itself, I think, plays such a huge role to be able for you to move forward, to go on and get on with things. Because why? You don't want to have that thing holding you, because it is like, I hate that word when you say, oh, she's got a lot of baggage, she's got a lot of baggage, you don't want to go out with that, you don't want this one, you don't want. That is a terrible thing to say, but it's kind of like someone just pulling you back, just pulling you back. It's not about baggage, because everyone has baggage, it's like someone just pulling you back, and you're letting them pull you back. So when you're able to forgive, that's when you can actually conquer that anger. And then you laugh off some of the things, and the things that hurt you. It's good to have a good cry. Cry like you just cry like you can't breathe, just cry. And the problem is, I think people have so much pride and ego. And I think when they have that, it's so hard. That's where hardened hearts come in. And they're incapable of forgiving. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Yes. Father, would you like to add anything to that?
Oh, well, yeah, I think Fran has said quite a bit about, letting go. I think so in some ways, not just, everyone has got baggage,
Yeah.
Some have excess baggage. But, I just remember reading something quite recently, it says that every time if you just keep looking back into the previous chapter of your life, you never move on to the next chapter,
Yeah.
And I think we always just look forward to a new chapter. And for me, every day is a beginning of a new chapter.
That's right.
To be able to wake up and see the sunrise, and even
That's right.
within the confines of one's home, to be thankful for even those little things. Yeah, I think that's a good reminder. And a nice song that you sang. I'm sure our readers, our listeners, can go to YouTube and pick out that song.
Yeah, I know that song is a beautiful. There are so many beautiful hymns like that. And I just decided to do. My sis was saying, I think we should do it. It's appropriate. And then when I sang that song, and I just felt like it's something that is meaningful, moving, and everyone is going through something or other right now. And there are a lot of sad cases also, because people are locked in, Yeah. But thankfulness, yes, if you notice, like the sun, the sunny days are so like amazing. Even when the sun is setting and the sun is rising in the morning, I have this great view that I can see the beautiful sun rising. It's so, and I can actually hear the pigeons actually talking. There must be a nest somewhere, but I can.
You sure you're not hallucinating, huh?
No. I can actually hear them talking. I don't want to sound like that, but it sounds, they're actually talking. And I remember one of the guys or management people, they were singing in this place that we stay. I was saying, there's a nest somewhere. We've got to get rid of the nest.
Well, I guess we are running out of time a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So
maybe.
Thanks, Fran.
So I suppose just before we let you go, Fran, is there anything you'd like to tell us about what's coming up for you in the near future? Any projects?
Yeah. Well, we've got the TV show is coming up, TV2, on the 27th. It's kind of crazy, but it's kind of fun. and it's just kind of weird to see we are all like in little squares on the TV. That's what you're going to see on TV too, And then there's another one coming up as well, but I don't know which station that's going to be. I've got to prepare for that recordings too. So it's all like doing at home. It seems so easy, but it's really a new world. I think a new world.
Maybe could you tell us a little bit about World Vision, because I think they at this period of time also they are doing quite a bit for the.
They are doing quite a bit, but I think there's also certain countries. Some countries are having a harder time than some countries because of the fact that they are not supposed to have so much movement around, and some countries, I think, the lockdown has affected them quite a bit because they are not able to reach out, and then only certain quarters are allowed to, and certain quarters they are not letting them move around freely to help, which I think is rather unfair and unkind. And I think they shouldn't, because World Vision has been around for a long time, just like Catholic Relief. And it's all been around for like donkey's years, and they really know at the back of their hand on poverty issues. And it's not about, people should not be thinking about conversion, because I think that is absolutely ridiculous. We are here trying to feed people, children are suffering, and when people are paranoid like that, it's a disgrace, because God is love and kindness and care, and you are supposed to reach out to anyone and everyone. And so it's also about the nutrition side of it. When you are all this kind of old hand in this industries of NGOs, whether it's Catholic Relief or St. Vincent de Paul or World Vision, they already know the kind of nutrition, what kind of foods to buy for sustainable lengths of periods of time. Here you're giving things that, you don't give chili sauce. Some people put chili sauce. Don't ask me where I read that. I'm not going to offend anyone. But chili sauce, is that nutrition? No, it's not. It's sugar, and it doesn't do anything for you. And preservatives. You are talking about flour. Can be any kind of flour, but flour, rice, of course, and then you have some sugar maybe, and then you have like drinks. So you buy different stuff like Milo or and milk powder. Milk powder is a necessity. What anyone wants to say. So these are things that you need. Soap, and even buying dal also. Dal is something that can be kept. When we were in, just a quick one, I know it's time, the time limit is there. We were in India with World Vision. I remember there was this school where all the laborers and all the very poor families, they'll put their kids to study in school. And I would see Mother Mary, Saint Mother Teresa, her picture was everywhere, and with Gandhiji in the whole school. I was so proud. And the children, how they give their meals, at least they will have their meals there. And they have all the nutritions are there. Of course, you have rice is carbo, and then you have a full boiled egg. One day they'll have full boiled egg, one day they'll have fish. And then dal, curry, dal. All the nutritions are there already. And that's a good meal for them. So I think that we want to talk about things, we must also talk about this, so that how they can sustain, because at this kind of lockdown thing, you really need to know what you're buying for the families.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Fran. Especially this time, what's important is sustenance, and we should be thinking about that, especially for the less fortunate. Thanks so much for that, Francissca Peter. It's been a pleasure to have you on our show. We won't forget all your memorable songs, and we wish you all the best. You're welcome anytime on our show, and we hope to have you again just to catch up. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Fran.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Father.
Father, how about a prayer before we end, Father?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, come. Name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Dear God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all the blessings that we receive that sometimes we forget to be thankful for. Thank you for reminding us to be grateful for even the little that we receive. We pray for many people who are trying to reach out to others at different levels, that you may use all of us as your instruments, as your channels to bring comfort, nutrition, and also to bring that sense of hope that you offer to us in the season of Easter. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Spirit.
Amen.
Well, that's today's episode. Don't forget to watch our previous shows on Facebook, Catholics at Home, our podcast on YouTube and Spotify as well. I'm Kachang Kevin on behalf of my co-host Mark Darrenly, Father Clarence, and our special guest today, Francissca Peter. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.